Alright, here we have bag number 23. Of course, this part is going to end our Lego Home Alone house, and what a journey it has been. So I think 23 is meant to kind of finish up that little side area of the house and also the basement portion. Then after that, there's just bag 24, and we are done. Maybe kind of a wild thing to say, but I really believe that the Lego Home Alone house has probably been the most varied build that I've gotten the chance to do. It definitely was always different. There was always something new about it, which you can't really say about even some of the best sets. Even those get a little monotonous, but this just never did, so it's got to be worth something. I see, I think we're building the sink. This might be the sink from near the end of the movie when Kevin is saved from Harry and Marv. Spoiler alert. Yeah, that's right. They don't kill him. All right. They have their kind of emerald countertops that they had in the movie. Extremely late 80s, early 90s kind of touch. Gold faucet. Looks like we're about to do one of my favorite little details that I'd always seen on the sticker sheet, especially when the sticker sheet got leaked before the set, which Lego did a tremendous job of making sure this set stayed pretty secretive. The only thing that got leaked actually was the sticker sheet, really. Usually the full sets are leaked, but I did notice in 2021 that they kind of clamped down on some of that. And here is the sticker that I'm talking about. The Little Nero's Pizza box sticker. So this is just a real thrill to get to do this. All right, let's see how we do here. I actually give you 2 of these stickers. I'm not sure if maybe we'll be doing another, just like a duplicate of this, like there's just another box or something. Which, that's cool. Or maybe they give you 2 in case you mess up, but that is not like Lego at all to give you an extra sticker. So I doubt that that's it, but you never know. Maybe it is. Maybe they were just feeling especially kind. Who knows? All right. I'd say that's good enough. And that just goes on top of the sink here. All right, so kind of just goes in this area to flesh it out. And a whole lot of this bag is interior details for this area. Whoops. Pizza is in distress. It would be really easy to overlook this area of the house, but this is where so much of the fun happens in the movie and a lot of the best gags happen, so it would have been an awful shame if they hadn't recreated the kitchen as well as they did. All right, speaking of that, here is a door that I guess might lead to the rest of the house. Not really sure. And there's kind of a big sticker that goes on this that kind of covers the door. So let's see if we can find that decal. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is the refrigerator. So that's the one that has a really reflective surface there. You can sort of see me. Hi. It has all the little things. I like this, the New York kind of guide here. So it's a little reference to Home Alone 2, I do believe. All right, yeah, let's try this thing. Now, I don't want to be negative, but stickers like these are usually deeply unpleasant because it just feels like so much can go wrong with their placement. Because this is essentially one big piece that you're trying to get right over this area, and you would think the bigger the sticker, the better it would be, but I have found that that is not the case, and instead it's pretty miserable trying to get everything just right. But that's okay. Time for me to shut up and see if I can actually get this sticker on here. I don't want to use the tweezers for this because there wouldn't be enough, that's not enough to like anchor it. I'm just gonna, I should not have put that door on the hinge. I may take that off. You know what? I'm gonna say that's good enough right there. Yeah, I think that's fine. All right. So we got that on. And for this, we just put it over to the side. Kind of gives, when you open it, there's some shelves on the interior of this that kind of gives you a faux interior to the refrigerator, which I think was a smart way to do it, I do believe. It's funny because it ends up looking like a vault with this big handle on it. So you're supposed to use this. And you can see you've got shelves on the inside of it. Okay, and I missed a little something. Just goes directly over and kind of hides the unsightly parts to the top of it. Sells it a little bit more as a refrigerator. And now we're just sealing off the top of it. And it also connects the refrigerator into the frame to where it's not just, loosely just sitting there. Okay, yeah, get kind of a more interior view. Heat finally kicked off to where hopefully we won't hear any more of the annoying vent noise in the background. Sorry about that. Got down here to start the stream and realized the heat was still going, so it takes the blower a minute to kind of shut off. And of course, anybody who does any audio, visual, anything will tell you how unpleasant it is to go back and watch your footage and hear an HVAC of any kind just running full blast. So, never fun. Okay. Weird how we stopped here. Maybe there's something else we're going to do, but that was it for the page on that. Okay, so moving on. Looks like now we're building some of the stuff that goes in the refrigerator. So if anybody who's watching this has built the Simpsons set, the Quickie Mart, there's so many great things that you put in the store freezer in that set, like little food items and things. And to me, those are always really, really fun to build. So it's great that we get a little bit of that here in the set. And it looks like these are the macaroni and cheese dinners that Kevin gets at the store. Maybe he uses a coupon or something for them. I'm trying to remember. But now it's time to put the stickers on for these guys. Of course, this sticker, super easy for these because we're just applying it to a rectangle. So thankfully, no door frame or anything we have to work on. Nothing like a refrigerator sticker, for a whole refrigerator. There we go. Look at that delectable little macaroni and cheese frozen dinner, which Kevin is sure to thank the good Lord for when he says his prayers in the movie. It's a sweet little scene. In previous streams, I kind of laughed about what a little jerk Kevin was to his mom at the beginning of the movie and how it's still kind of shocking to watch it now. But really, John Hughes knew what he was doing because you have to have some sort of arc for Kevin, even though he's a kid, and I think that would be disingenuous of the movie if they didn't attempt some kind of character growth. I mean, when your main character is a kid, you have to, still doesn't exclude that from being a thing. So it's important for him to be kind of a jerk at the beginning of the movie. I think I should have been a little more forthcoming about that, I think, because it's a good bit of characterization. Hello there, Hunter. You doing all right tonight? Get our macaroni and cheese stocked in here. It's funny as this thing goes back deeper than it seems, so I'm having a hard time getting my big fingers to get this in here. Come on, macaroni and cheese dinners. There we go. Okay. Safely in the little refrigerator. Oh, now here's a little visual something that it definitely feels familiar to me just right away. And if you remember, right over like the kitchen sink in the movie, there's the little curtains. Oh yeah, I'm doing good. I am doing great. Anytime I'm getting to put together a huge Lego set, then I'm always doing great. I'm doing especially well because last night, and don't worry, no spoilers here, but I got to see Ghostbusters Afterlife, which I was absolutely thrilled by. Fulfilled every hope I had for the movie. It's one of those rare cases where I had, an idea of what I would want to do if I could make another Ghostbusters movie. And I think their idea was better than what I had. So, and certainly better executed. So, congratulations to everyone involved in that movie. I think that it's just perfect. So, makes me wish that there had been a big presence, for Lego for this movie, and it's a shame there really wasn't. Went to the theater to see it. Yeah, went to the Cinemark to see it, and it was an okay experience, but it also reminded me of how irritating people at the theater can be, because you had every type of problem with audiences. You had every problem represented by the crowd that I was with. Now, it wasn't unbearable, and it wasn't to the point where clearly it didn't ruin the experience for me or anything like that, but oh my gosh. There was a guy trying to narrate it to the person he was sitting beside of, so that was fun to listen to. He was also almost directly behind me, so that was great. And then there was somebody thought it was a fine idea to take a baby to the movie, and bless their heart, you know, but I'll never understand for the life of me why people think that it's a grand idea to take a very small baby to a movie that may bother the baby. It's not the baby's fault that it's crying or upset, but maybe use a little judgment about what you bring the little guy or the little girl to. It's not their fault. I don't blame the baby. I blame the parents for some poor judgment there. That's not good for anybody's experience. And yeah. No, I'm not trying to say ban babies from theaters, but definitely ban babies from theaters. Oh, yeah, thank you, Paul. Yeah, it's looking really cool, man. I am really excited to see what the final result is going to be here. Of course, I mean, everything's, you know, the set is practically built so far. It's just adding this last room, and then after bag 23 here, we'll go on to bag 24, which is going to be the treehouse, and that will end the set. Of course, I think the treehouse isn't meant to be anything extensive or huge, and I think it would be a bad idea for me to get it hyped up in my head that it's going to be like super detailed or something, because I think it's just meant to be like a little extra thing, almost like a little completion mini build right at the end. That's just meant to be fun and fill out the environment. It would have been a shame if they hadn't have done any kind of representation of the treehouse, because it is an important plot point to the end of the movie. Anybody who's seen Home Alone knows that it is important to represent the treehouse, because it is Kevin's last-ditch effort plan. And honestly, it was kind of my favorite stuff in the original Home Alone, is when it builds to Kevin doing the big escape to the treehouse. I don't know, it was bringing together for me a bunch of my fantasies of having like tree houses and like a zip line and all this crazy stuff. Like when you're a kid, you think for sure, you know, that's, I don't know, you want like a lair like that. And so Kevin having that as part of his escape plan seemed really cool, and seemed like a very realistic and efficient way to trick Harry and Marv or outsmart them. So just the fantasy of the treehouse, and being such a huge fan of Batman, I was way into grappling hooks, and I was wanting to swing off of stuff. So that made it even more cool, really. So it looks like we are building some cabinet sets here with some drawers. And this is, again, going to fill out that kitchen environment. So I'm excited to see what that looks like once it's all together. It's just, I think it's going to be great. Very excited. Everybody have some big Thanksgiving plans this year? Is everybody geared up for hopefully what will be a very filling Thanksgiving, very fun Thanksgiving? Hopefully everybody that's listening, hopefully your plans are a little more normal than they were maybe last year, a little less sad than last year. We started our Thanksgiving plans today with my wife's family, which is, of course, my family, too. They're my in-laws. They are wonderful people. So we had a terrific meal. Fantastic. Can't ask for any better. Thankful. Very thankful to the Lord that we have a little bit more of a normal year this year, and thankful for that very much. I'm sure many of you all listening feel the same way. on a more superficial note, I am thankful for cool Lego sets. So, because that's what most guys in their mid-30s. That's what they think too. It's all good though. All right. I'm really pleased with how extensive that this kitchen portion ended up being. I really thought that it would be only the smallest suggestion of that McAllister super 90s kitchen, super late 80s kitchen. But nope, we're going full on with this thing. And we're now building out the island portion, that middle portion of the kitchen. There's a little bit of confusion, apparently, when it comes to John Hughes movies, that some people look at the kitchen in Uncle Buck and the house in general, and they think that it's the same house as in Home Alone. No, apparently it is just kind of a similar house. It's not the same one, but you would almost be forgiven for thinking so. You would be forgiven for thinking so, because it is awfully similar. And if anybody remembers that scene where Uncle Buck is doing the cooking and he's making like that giant pancake or something, or omelet, I can't remember. It kind of looks like this. There's even like the little island and all that, but I don't know. It might have more to do with just the like Victorian kind of style houses at the time looked a certain way, and it's not meant to be anything too significant. Or maybe John Hughes has a certain type of house that he liked, and that was it. No other kind of house would do. Not really sure what this represents. Maybe it connects, because this is just a little 1x2 down here. Maybe that connects to the flooring on the other part or something. But I am surprised by how this is kind of coming together. So we're getting to build one of my absolute favorite traps as a kid. This was cream of the crop type of traps right here. And I'll let you figure out what it is as I build it. You know what happens in the kitchen, so I have a feeling you'll be able to guess as I build. And you just tell me what you're seeing here. So we've got, yep, and this gives it away. There's very little that gave me more joy in the movie than seeing this trap deployed. Look at that. That's right. It is the torch right here that catches. Yeah. This is the torch that catches Harry's head on fire. And it just like, do you see how close that is to not clearing the door? But it clears the door like no problem. Look at that. That was as close as you can get, but it works. It absolutely works. That is fantastic. All right, and the other side of the curtains, we kind of complete that. I love the warm colors in Home Alone. I love that the house has that kind of warmth to it. Everything has that kind of, I don't know, there's a lot of, I'm not even really sure what you would call it, but the color palette has a lot of warmth. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is a beautiful little addition there. I think some of you all will know what I mean when I say this. But, oh, definitely, yeah, the warm Christmas vibes are intense in the McAllister home, which I think is what they were going for, probably what they wanted. The McAllister kitchen sort of reminds me of early 90s, late 80s Pizza Hut. Because there's like red curtains, and there's some brick, and it's kind of that dark green. It very much reminds me of what 80s Pizza Hut actually looked like. we go. We have some shelving here on the side that connects to the island, and this was just continuing what turned out to be shelving right there. So solves that mystery. Ah, and here we have a detail that I have been excited about. This is the TV that plays Angels with Even Filthier Souls. One of the greatest fake, completely made up movies of all time. And made up it is. I remember as a kid, even as a teenager, you know, I felt positive. I mean, absolutely sure that this was a real gangster film that had been made in like the 40s or the 30s or something that Kevin was watching. And I thought, okay, yeah, they just went through the Fox library and they found a movie, you know, that they own the rights to, and they just had Kevin use this old gangster movie. Nope, it was a completely made up movie that they shot, you know, while they were making it. And look at this look at this sticker right here. Yeah, sure, I believe you, but my Tommy gun don't. I'm gonna give your low-life, four-flushing carcasses, I think that's what he says, to the count of 10 to get out my door. Just, I don't know, maybe I was a violent kid or something. But I thought this, honestly, I thought it was the funniest thing in the whole movie about this gangster movie. I just thought that it was hilarious. And it was, honestly, it was probably the thing I ended up quoting the most from the movie. I looked up the actor who plays the main gangster. Can't remember what his name is. The woman says his name. And, of course, they brought him back to do another scene for a fake sequel for Angels with Filthy Souls. And the title is, of course, a work of genius because the movie is called Angels with Even Filthier Souls. What's his name, Tony or something? There we go. Got our TV done right there. Look at that. Pure brilliance. Pure brilliance. Lovely. All right, and I believe we have their gigantic microwave now that we're working on. Of course, as all of us know, microwaves were quite differently sized during the era of Home Alone, late 80s, early 90s microwaves. Wonder that a microwave of that size didn't kill us all or something. Because it seems something like this would emit the kind of radiation of maybe a small nuclear device, perhaps. I don't know. I turned out okay. I'm growing an 8th leg, you know, but other than that, though, everything's good. I feel good. I feel great. All right. Oh, that would be great, actually. You know, I have an embarrassing confession about Gremlins. It wasn't until probably 3 or 4 years ago that I finally watched Gremlins for the first time. It was something that had completely escaped me, like in my childhood. Probably a good thing it did escape me, because there's elements of Gremlins that's completely horrifying, I think, for kids. So it probably would have traumatized me if I'd watched it. So I have no problem admitting that. But I was not disappointed when I finally saw Gremlins. It was great, even though I was 30 by the time I watched it. I had a lot of love for it. Just think about it. You could be building the chimney, And you could put a little Lego skeleton in there, little Lego corpse for you. Like, well, here you go, kids. Don't you love it? All right, look at that impressive specimen of an 80s microwave. We have some switches and dials. And I think we have a printed timer. Yes, we do. Printed timer, y'all. Okay, and there's our lovely and, might I add, functional 80s microwave. You can open it up right there. I love it. If this will just stay together. There we go. You know what's interesting would be them trying to do the scale correctly compared to Lego minifigs, because it would be interesting, because the gremlins would, you know, of course they'd have to be smaller, no doubt. But then that makes you wonder, okay, do you do like a dedicated mold that is like a micro fig scale? Like, you know, we see those micro figures in some sets. Maybe that would be the way to go. But of course you couldn't just have a gremlin like in a vanilla pose. You would really, they would have to do like several molds. But then at that point, maybe they would actually have to cheat the scale of the gremlins a little bit and have the gremlin be more like the size of, say, like the Ewoks are in the Star Wars sets. That's probably the way to go, because then the gremlin could still be posable. And I don't think anybody would mind if the gremlin was, you know, was a little too big or something. If we're going to start splitting hairs over that kind of thing, then, you know, we can't have nice things. So, plus it would, you know, if you went down to that micro scale with those little things, you can't even hardly get paint detail onto those guys, because, you know, the production facilities just, I doubt they even exist to do that kind of minute kind of work. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, Stripe and Mogwai. It'd be wonderful. I'd be very excited about that. I would love it. Love it, love it. I saw a rumor today, there's some leaked listings, that apparently we're going to be getting some new Lego Stranger Things sets. Saw several videos about that today from some of my fellow YouTubers. And that's really exciting. I know the Upside Down always looked like a fantastic Lego set. I didn't get it, but I'll tell you, if they do a Starcourt Mall set, I'll just about have to get it if it's extensive enough, because I've always wanted a Lego shopping mall. I've seen Jang Bricks, you know, he did that incredible mock of like a classic kind of mall. And ever since then, it just kind of stays in my mind, you know, oh, wouldn't an 80s or even a 90s, whatever, mall just be incredible? I think that would be wonderful. Which is, you know, as completely consumerism kind of consumerism-y as this sounds, really, I really like Lego stores, like little stores made out of Lego. I know they did that toy shop recently. I didn't get it, but one of my friends did. And, he may be watching, so. But I thought that looked really cool. I'll be honest with you, I have no idea what I'm building here. What is this? I'm going to feel stupid when I figure it out. I will feel like a fool. Okay, there's clearly, what am I? Is this the laundry chute? They actually included that? Is this like where he puts the starting lineup figures? We'll find out. feel like an even bigger dummy if that's not it. No, I'm pretty sure that's it. All right, next page, looking very likely here. All right, Lego. I'm impressed. I didn't think you would do the laundry chute. I really didn't. Ah, Mallrats, Lego said. The stuff of dreams, my friend. The stuff of dreams. The kinds of things that you could keep yourself up at night hoping that they would make. Have a little, I don't know. I would love to see a little action feature where Silent Bob could use the Batman grappling gun to save Jay. That would be fantastic. Jay gave him a little peck on the cheek for luck as they go flying through the air. Get a Michael Rooker minifigure. Get you a Stan Lee with beard. Oh, now you've got me thinking. Have a little, just all sorts of fun little details. I cannot believe that they actually did a little laundry chute. This is wonderful. You know, that was the one thing that I just thought there was no way that they would include in the set. I was like, well, how would they even do that? That doesn't even make sense. Well, here it is, right before my eyes. They figured out a way to do it, by golly. The laundry chute was apparently not out of the question, as I thought it was. Which is a great thing. And this, of course, answers why I didn't do the lining up here earlier, because they were giving room for a functional little laundry chute. Here is the answer about why we have 2 Little Nero's pizza stickers. Because we also get another box of pizza, which is completely realistic for the movie, or accurate, should I say, the movie, because there are multiple boxes. There's not just the one closed box of Little Nero's pizza. And we do get a pizza. Here it is. This is, I believe, a print we've seen before, but it's fantastic. It really works. Plugs in right here. If I can get it. There we go. And then the open lid of the Little Nero's pizza box. And it won't close all the way because of the pizza. If you remove the pizza, it would go flush, I think. And we are running low on stickers. There's not many left. We have this one. Yeah, I agree, Paul. I think that it's top notch. You know, I put together quite a few Lego sets. It's something I do pretty regularly. And I have to say, it's as high quality. Yeah. It's as high quality as of a set as I've seen. I mean, there's no doubt this is Lego. This is the designers, and of course, you know, I credit the fan designer too. This is them at their level best. I think just doing it right and giving the people what they want. There's no other company like Lego that's really, like, seriously considering fan created items and letting the people kind of guide them on what to make. I mean, other companies are all the time saying things about, oh, you know, we're taking customer feedback and it's very important. We're taking suggestions and we're looking online. But none of them are actually, that I can see, are offering like a portal to actually collect votes and figure out exactly what people want. I mean, I think we've gotten really used to Lego ideas being a thing. And honestly, a lot of the fandom, there's been some bad behavior lately over Lego ideas, and it's okay. It's understandable that they're frustrated about certain aspects of it, but there's no company like Lego. Yeah, I agree. I think you would be awfully hard-pressed to find somebody who didn't have some kind of sentimental attachment And sometimes I think that, they're making all these items and collectibles and follow-ups and all the things that I loved. And I'm thinking, wow, it's like the market is catering directly to me. But the truth is that it's catering to 35 to 40-year-old people like me, somewhere in that age range. Absolutely. We are now the people who you can make a majority of your profits off of. So the truth is, this is just companies right now figuring out who they're selling to, attempting to gauge what we want, and then doing those things. I just watched a review earlier for the new, bingo. And this is, what we're doing right now is we're buying things that are representative of our life. This is our childhoods right here. We all have a connection to this, and willing to buy it. I watched a review earlier for Arcade 1-Up. They did this, brand new X-Men arcade. It's, of course, based on the original one from, I think, 92. And I think it's like $700. But the truth is, a ton of people are going to buy it because that's what the people want. So, here we go. Oh my gosh, I actually see what they're going to do now. This is the iron from the movie right here. And you put it in the laundry chute right here. Oh my God. Yep. That's what it is. Okay. Legit, we are going to put this in here. I see it now. And we're going to stack this on the basement piece. And then this should fall on through. So, just like that. I can't even believe it. I can't even believe it. Didn't think they would go that far, but here we are. That's actually going to fall through. You can actually have that fall on through to hit Harry and Marv. I absolutely can't believe it. Flabbergasted by this. Color me shocked about this whole thing with the laundry chute, because that's going to stack right there. Zoom out just a little so we can see. So that's going to connect. Yep. It should fall through right down there to that bottom level. Okay. Very nice. They did such a great job of creating the same little setup from the movie. How, just like in the movie, you can go out in the back from the kitchen and go through this door and then end up in the basement. Isn't that great? I know it. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. I didn't even think the laundry chute would be included, but here we are. We live in the reality where they did a working Lego laundry chute just for Home Alone. Look at that. And the iron actually comes down. Okay. Honestly, they could stop the set right there. And I would probably just be like, you know what? Mission accomplished. Great work. And then we're done. We don't get a roof? No, it's okay. They did a working laundry chute, man. Yeah, that's right. Bougie. I'm telling you, it's like they saved the best little action feature, the most unexpected thing for this ending portion right here. They knew that there would be people like me who would be like, you know what, there's no way that they're going to do this. So they're like, let's wow them right here at the end. let's just blow their minds just a little bit, All right, and I think we're building the roof portion right now. So let's see what happens. This will, of course, build out this little section of the house, make it congeal a little bit better with the rest. Okay, get it up to standard. Okay. Yes. It's like a reward for sticking with them. Although honestly, I built a lot of great sets that, even though they were great, there were elements of them that felt like chores. There was kind of monotonous sections where you're like, okay, I just got to get through this part so I can get to the next fun part of the build or the next interesting part of the build. And that is, the people who have watched a lot of this stream or have built the set for themselves, you've seen that has not been the case. There was hardly ever a time where there wasn't something incredibly interesting or fulfilling or fan servicey going on. And it was just delightful the entire time. This is, regardless of how the completed set, how I feel about it at the end, which, spoiler alert, it's looking good. Yeah, that's exactly right. He was pretty heroic. But regardless of how, the final product turns out, the experience of building this was better than any set ever. Oh, I definitely think that's an element of it. And it also helps us kind of fill in, like, with our imaginations, exactly what's going on. It gives us a point of reference for everything. At the same time, if this set was called Christmas House, Stop the Robbers, without any kind of Home Alone branding, I would be entirely impressed by all the ingenuity and the original little features. But then again, this wouldn't exist without the movie. So it's really, you can't have one without the other. It's like chicken or the egg kind of debate stuff. So, but yeah, I do think that's a big part of it. I think, the love for Home Alone, and that Home Alone has been kind of underrepresented in merchandise when it comes to like toy kind of stuff. NECA did those incredible 8-inch cloth, like dolls, action figures. And those are wonderful. And I latched onto those just immediately when those came out. But that's been a few years ago. I was in college when those came out. Or I think I just got out of college. So it's great to actually get something, that's a little bit more of a complete representation. Stop the robbers. Well, if they agree to pay Nicolas Cage $100 American, he'll probably show up. You know what? I'll go even further. Probably if they just guarantee Nicolas Cage gets like a meal at the craft service table, he'll show up. So I heard there was a dinner in it. I can just hear him now. He's moseying his way around the craft service table, ready to get a free meal. Mr. Cage, are you okay? No, I'm fine. All right. Of course, Nicolas Cage is, as bad as I hate to admit it, he's probably, God bless him, because he's probably, in terms of what he did with his money, is probably what I would do if I were him. He would just buy all this random stuff and show up to auctions and like way overspend. I think he bought some dinosaur fossils one time. He bought, maybe he bought Action Comics #1 one time. Yes. I was just slightly too young to have got to see the original Home Alone in theaters, but thankfully, my sister and my brother-in-law took me to go see it, to go see Home Alone 2, that is. And I was thrilled. Really special experience. And the theater where I saw it at, yeah, wasn't there some drama about that? I think you're right. I think there was some drama about the fossils and them not being legit, and he had to return them. But yeah, the theater where I saw Home Alone 2 at is now closed and has been torn down for quite some time. So there's it's nice to have those little memories of that kind of thing, especially if they're gone, like in that situation. So we're just kind of sloping our way upwards here. And at this top level, we've got some little panels. Yeah, I think that the toy store was fascinating for me as a kid. And what's funny about the toy store was I remember, even thinking this as a kid, that there wasn't like a lot of actual like commercial toys in it, unlike say a movie like Jingle All the Way, where you can look in the background and you can see tons of actual, like mid-90s toys. But in Duncan's toy store, there really isn't anything like that. Instead, it looks like Chris Columbus wanted to go with more of like timeless kind of toy shop kind of items. But I will say that I always really liked, I guess, was it supposed to be a dinosaur head or something that had the ooze that come out of it, like the slime? And that's what Kevin uses to trip up Harry and Marv in one section where it's like a green dragon's head, and he uses it, and like the slime comes out, and I think they slip on it. Yeah, very old-fashioned. Of course, my friend Brandon, who is on the channel with me sometimes, his favorite movie and his favorite line, in Home Alone 2 is where Harry and Marv saying, "We're gonna come out of our houses, little houses at night." Yeah. It always gets me. To me, the funniest thing in Home Alone 2 is the insane electrocution scene of Marv. There is nothing funnier in the entire movie than Marv turning into a literal skeleton with the insane screaming that Daniel Stern does. Like it's a level of insanity that I don't think they ever breach in either Home Alone 1 or 2. It's one of the funniest things I've ever heard. Years ago, me and a couple of my friends, it was Brandon and one of our other friends, we got to that scene on the DVD, which was fairly new at that time, getting it on DVD. And we used the feature that was on a lot of DVD players where you could make it repeat a certain stretch of time, like over and over again with a repeat feature. And we got to that part and managed to loop it infinitely. And I think we kept the loop on of Marv getting electrocuted for probably, I don't know. I think we had it going for like 20 minutes, laughing so hard that our ribs hurt. And I kind of felt sick by the end of it. And we were just sitting there, just transfixed, watching Daniel Stern turn into a practical effect skeleton. Probably one of the greatest things I've ever seen. Yeah. Writing a book about it. Here we have the Kevin's airline ticket, and this is one of the last stickers we actually have to utilize here. Use my tweezers because these little ones, if you don't, you'll be in trouble. That's right, the Sticky Bandits, which was his lame rebranding idea, just so that he could steal a few cents from the Salvation Army Santa Claus. So there's the ticket for Kevin, and hilariously, it goes in the trash. That's what it shows. It shows you putting it in the trash can, and there you go. But you know what? This can actually work as the trash can that I was talking about that the old man needed, because of what Kevin's cousins are telling the story that he puts his victims in the salt in the trash. And, you can see him walking. He's got that trash can, like dragging it with him down the street. So, you can grab that. And but it's going to be hard for me not to just like put Harry and Marv in there as if the old man had like murdered them and then put them in the trash. That's the Snyder cut of Home Alone. Snyder cut is the old man savagely beating Harry and Marv to death. and then mummifying them in the salt. Yeah, I should probably clarify that. Yeah, he's not got a trash can. He's got a, I guess it's like a trash can, but it is full of salt. He's spreading salt as a community service. And Kevin's cousins are such jerks that they're going to make fun of the old man for helping out their subdivision by putting salt on slippery sidewalks. Like, he's doing it to help everybody, which is even more tragic that he's this poor old guy is having such a hard time. Yeah, the story's told from Kevin's death, but like, I saw such horrors. It's like it's too intense. It's too intense. People, we're all traumatized from watching it. We're all worse off from having seen it. Some things should not be viewed by human eyes, and that's one of them. Aha, there we go. Okay, my friends, we actually have a completed house right here. This is, there's nothing left to do on the house. This is it. There is only the treehouse and maybe a few little accoutrements, I guess. So I'm just going to leave this turned around for now, because now we have this bottom section built. Okay. You can see that we have kind of a more complete idea of how this looks now. You can, yeah, that cuts an impressive silhouette there. Look at that. Okay, so now what's left is to get the bag 24s going here. Okay, so I've talked about this before, that not only is Lego becoming more obsessed with getting the pacing right and actually pacing out the build and having it be intentional, but now with this final bag, and of course there's actually two parts of bag 24. There's a big one and a little one. So, but now they're actually into storytelling with the bags. Now, you'll see what I mean. You'll see what I mean. Okay, last bag. Breaking this last bag. Here we go. That's it. There's now not a single bag left that to be opened in this set. This is it. So I'll show you what I mean by the storytelling here, because I'm so impressed by the thought that they put into this. There was one more bag. It's this little one. Okay. Oh, there's even one more. Here we go. This is like the clown car of Lego bags. It just keeps opening up into new ones. There's lots of little pieces here, so they're going to make us work for this last bag. Like I was saying, though, storytelling. There is actually some storytelling happening here. Because, let me get it all together here. Check out our final minifig. And the pantsuit, just like the movie. Kevin's mom. Just like at the end of the movie, at the end of your build experience, Kevin's mom makes it home. So it's incredible to think about the level of storytelling that they're trying to give you, like a little narrative experience here. You make it through this whole thing, and you built all the traps as if you've had to use all the traps for Kevin to survive. And then at the end of the build, you know, mom gets home. I have to give some attention to this. Look at this right here. There's certain images you can hear without having to hear them. You know what I mean? Anybody, you guys, what do you all think that she's saying here? I think I know. I think it is as only Catherine O'Hara can do. Come on. I cannot do the shrillness that she can do, but you know, it's great. It's great. Absolutely great. Right, I will be right back. I have to grab the power cord real quick before I run out of power midstream, which would be a kind of a shame. Sorry about that. We are back in business for this final bag. All right. So I think the whole bag is dedicated to the treehouse, but it often, I think it kind of escapes me in the movie just how brief the scenes of the treehouse really are. So I would say this will be one of those situations where just the act of building it will teach me a little bit more about how the treehouse is laid out and what all's in it. Okay, so it does look like we have a few things from this bag that just completes like little visual things about the house. And some of them are some of the outside details. And this actually answers one of my big questions is, were they going to do anything to represent the statue that keeps getting knocked over as the running gag in the movie? And I'm having that answered right now, because apparently, yes, you do build a representation of the little statue. So let's get the old man and Kevin out of the way. We are going to build a little bit of foliage, because if you remember, there is some like little bushes and things that are covered in snow. And rather than taking the easy way out, they actually have you build up some of that stuff and then cover it with little like snow pieces. So that's very impressive. All right. Foliage building in Lego is incredibly confusing, because there's all sorts of different angles to put the leaves and the grass or whatever. But this is so much easier than what they had us do with the medieval blacksmith set, because that had like this weird kind of atypical way of building trees in it. And it confused me to no end, because there was 3 different shades of green of the same like little leaf pieces like these. And they couldn't print it in a satisfactory way to where you could actually tell the difference between the colors. So I found myself completely confused. Like, I mean, completely confused. Leading me to have to redo several things in it. I mean, nothing major, but at the same time, it was just shocking that I was having to do it in the first place. Okay. Here's one of them. I do think it's funny that they wait until this last bag to do some of the more, like some of these exterior details for the house. It's kind of like it's like little finishing touches on it. And once again, this gets into that pacing thing I was talking about with modern Lego, where they pace it out to where it's like, okay, maybe this would slow things down a little too much here at the beginning. Let's save that for like an ending type of thing, where these are just little extra details, little extra things that will enhance the look of the set. And that's really, really cool that they think in this way, because that it has to be intentional. It doesn't feel like it's just random. Even something like this, where these details don't come until later, still feels like an intentional decision. It feels like something that they sat down and were like, you know, this feels like little extra things to enhance the house. Okay, we got that. That actually works really well, because especially if you're looking from above, you can see it's just like snow that's packed on to like little shrubberies out in the front. Okay, and sure enough, we have now some floodlights that are on the outside of the house, which I'm shocked. Oh yeah, definitely. I am completely shocked that they thought to do floodlights for the front of the house. All right, so we have, here's a couple of our lights right here. And we'll get down a little bit where we can see. And those just go on the sides. It would be awesome to get a couple of white base plates for this thing. Even better to make this as a part of your Lego city. Let's have a little section where you've got like a suburb. Make this the kind of center of your suburbia. And here is the representation of the little statue that's out front of the house that keeps getting knocked over by everybody that shows up. It's funny to say, but at this point, the only thing that I could have imagined them giving us beyond what we're getting is like the little Nero guy's car, like his delivery vehicle. Like that's the only thing at this point that I can even think of. I would say they included everything but the kitchen sink, but you know, I built a couple of kitchen sinks. Dun, 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 dun. It's true though. It's true. Can't say that it's everything but the kitchen sink. Okay, here we have some little grabbies right here in white. All right. Oh, okay. Looks like what we have going on is some Christmas lights. Yeah. Okay. Once again, colored me shocked. Apparently we are stringing Christmas lights on the outside. Okay. Okay. I'm here for it. All right. Not what I expected to be doing. Yeah. Who would have thought? Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Lego Christmas lights. Making Lego Christmas lights for your home would, I imagine, be a very expensive process. Lego ain't cheap. You'd be better off buying full-size lights. I wonder how long this set will be available for sale. It varies wildly these days with Lego sets. It usually has a lot to do with sales. If this set performs well, I imagine it'll be available for a while. Look at that, stringing them together. Now I just have to make sure they all get turned the right way. And then we're just gonna plug these in, get our lights going here, string them together. It's really surprising that they even did this. And this isn't the only string of lights we're going to do. We're going to do one for one side of the house and one for the other. Okay, so we have the lights there. I'll probably have to work on making sure they're all oriented the same way, which is a little frustrating. Okay. And then one more. Second verse, same as the first. this very much feels like them coming to the end of this and being like, well, what could we add to to give the most accurate version of the exterior of the house that we can? Are there extras that we can add in? And keep in mind that a lot of these extra little details, like the treehouse we're getting ready to build, were not a part of the original LEGO Ideas submission. They were things that LEGO themselves added. There was actually a lot of trepidation that this would be a really pared back version of the house, and that it would come in at a lower price point because of that, that you would be looking at a $100 set. But instead, they actually went further than the original submission did and plussed it up. And I have a feeling that has a lot to do with their partnership with Disney. Because keep in mind, Disney owns Home Alone now, as they own most things. But they own the Fox catalog. So I think that this had a lot to do with them partnering with them and kind of presenting the idea and deciding to make it a big item, not just something like a casual buy. This was a major set. Keep in mind, this is larger, more extensive. Oh yeah, thank you for watching. It's been awesome. This is bigger than the Friends sets, bigger than Seinfeld, more extensive than any LEGO Ideas set they've ever done. This has been the absolute biggest one. And they couldn't have picked one that I was more excited about. I remember, I guess it was last year when they announced this one, LEGO Ideas submission, or it got through the submission phase or whatever. I was shocked because I hadn't been following this one on the Ideas side. I didn't know that it was a thing. And I had no clue that anybody had developed something like this. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. Yeah, Home Alone reference. It hit me all of a sudden that I was like, well, yeah, this is a great idea for a set. Why wasn't I clamoring for this before? I'm just glad that somebody was, because it truly is a thing of beauty. All right, so apparently I leave this middle one without a light, and that clamps into this. At least I think it's the middle one. Nope, not the middle one. Got that a little wrong. It's this one. Okay. Yeah, it's a shocker. I was very surprised when they announced that they'd been working on this. I thought, really? And of course, it was a pleasant surprise. Oh, I still managed to goof up. I had it right the other way. Okay. Now, let's try it. See how we do. Yeah, much like it had been speculated, I thought for sure there would be so many compromises with how this was done. And that is not the case, even a little bit. There were no compromises about how they did this thing. And just proving I can mess this up one more time. There we go. So, for those who have watched me struggle with this little part, the deal is I got a little light happy. Didn't realize that they wanted me to leave one of them blank. And the deal is you have 3 lights here and then 5 lights here. And that will keep it a little more tight to the house and allow this to kind of drape down. Then I have my other string of lights. And of course, I'll make sure that that's how these go too. Because I need 3. And then plug this in. Then this clamps to the middle. And this is just kind of a way of controlling the way that the lights bend and the way that they're shaped. Okay, good, good. All right, got our lights on there. You wouldn't think that it would work as well as it does, but it's a fun illusion once they're all kind of strung together. Okay. And so then you still end up using these, though. I'm trying to see exactly how they're having me do this. I think. Okay. So this shoves out just a little bit, just enough to where you have enough room for this to catch on. And then you put it on there as like an anchor light. That's what we'll call it, an anchor light. Okay. All right. Then we're doing a little bit more of the shrubbery, because if you remember the front of the house, it's got like little evergreen shrubs or something around it that just happen to be snow covered. So we're completing a little bit more of that kind of detail. Let's see here. We just build this part twice. I really didn't think they would do much to represent the snow-covered like shrubbery at the front of the house, but color me surprised. This last little part is just full of surprises when it comes to the extent that we're willing to go. It must be really funny for the people who own this house now. I mean, surely Lego would send them a set so that you can build it. Be like, I don't know. There are plenty of people who do those little custom versions, like tiny versions of their house. You see that way more in movies and TV shows, though, than in real life. I personally do not know anyone who has a little, like, diorama of their own house. Even though I think that would be fun. I would build my house in a heartbeat in a Lego set. That might actually be fun to try to mock together, actually. Okay, so I have an idea for a really premium, like, Lego experience that I think is actually like a really lucrative idea if Lego would ever want to jump on this. What if, for a certain amount of money, Lego would would like analyze a picture of your house? Like, you send them the photo of your house and, you know, measurements or whatever. And then for a certain amount of money, they would send you the instructions for like to how to build a scale replica of your house. And maybe this would need to be in micro scale, because I don't know if they could spare like the time to try to design minifig scale stuff, but that would be something I think a lot of people would be willing to pay a really premium price for, to have a like pre-made instruction set for a scale model of their house in Lego. I mean, it would be a cool experience. You know, unless you hate your house, and then nobody wants to be reminded you hate your house. You're trying to escape from it then in that case. But I do think it would be funny. I also have to wonder if there would be some kind of funny conflict of interest because, you know, anybody who's familiar with this knows that there's a bunch of templates that people buy, like pre-made like designs for different houses that people buy. And of course those are copyrighted in some way. They're not free for the public or anything. Like, you have to buy those designs to get someone to build them. But wouldn't that be hilarious if somebody was like, you can't build that. You bought that design from me. How dare you? These are actually kind of hard to stick on. They're a little bit more finicky than other types of pieces. Oh, I really like the illusion now that all that's together. Yeah, that's really nice now. I like it. Okay, and a ton more floodlights now, because if you remember, that was a big plot point, or at least a little plot point in the movie, that Kevin's dad tells Harry, who's dressed up as the police officer, that they have automatic lights. If you remember, Harry and Marv then sit in the van and they figure out the timing of the lights. And they're like, what is it that Harry's saying? He's like, number 662. He's like got all the house numbers and he knows the schedule of their lights. He figures out that everybody's gone for the holidays, that literally no one in the neighborhood, practically, aside from the old man, is actually at home. I think that's pretty funny. I do think Home Alone made people a little more aware about home safety kind of stuff. And of course, it's not meant to be realistic in their depiction of a lot of that, but I do think it made people a little more aware of some of the precautions that they need to take. I guarantee you it was excellent for the home security industry. I guarantee you that there was a lot more security systems put into homes. And we do 2 more of these. Then we are ready to move on. And it's just a matter of placing them. I saw where one of my friends, he tagged me in a link for a light kit for this set, which I thought looked terrific. And there's a big industry, like a huge industry, for Lego custom light kits that are aftermarket kind of things. Yes, it really does. I agree completely. And I love those light kits. They bring these sets up to the next level. They are very expensive. The light kits can add like $80 or $100 to a set, and I don't really think it's hard for me to decide to put that kind of resources into a set. Like this one was already $250. And so 250 is like, that might be as far as I go. But that's a grand thing though that people have. Those light sets are really terrific. I'm really glad they exist because they plus up these sets to like a crazy degree. And I've seen some of these sets, even things like the old fishing store. If you've seen this Lego Ideas set, which is one of my favorite sets of all time, it looks terrific with the light kit. So it's something that if you have the expendable cash and you're just wanting to take it to the next level, if you want to do a light kit, man, that would be fantastic. I like that some of these lights go directly on the shrubbery, just like you would see in real landscaping. You would have lights coming from that direction. So that is a great little touch. All of Harry's lines in Home Alone, Joe Pesci's lines, all make me think of all of the terrific Joe Pesci soundboards that have been online for years that people use to prank call people, where you have all those ridiculous Joe Pesci lines, and a lot of them are from Home Alone. Especially all the lines where at the beginning of the movie he's supposed to be asking about home security stuff. And so a great lead-in to some of the greatest Joe Pesci prank calls of all time are him asking all that battery of security questions. Where he's like, you got any plans? You going anywhere? Where you going? Like at the beginning of the movie. That's like some of the very best prank call lead-ins ever. Yes, Joe Pesci is a gift. I was thrilled when, the Netflix film, the Martin Scorsese movie, that they were able to get Joe Pesci to come out of retirement for that movie. Joe Pesci is a gift. Sometimes, I wish that there were actors like Joe Pesci and Gene Hackman, Jack Nicholson. I wish that, that they wouldn't retire because you want to see them forever. But at the same time, it's awfully selfish, I guess. They deserve to have that time with their family. Yeah, The Irishman, man, it was so good. I loved it. And I think the best part about Joe Pesci's character in the movie was that Scorsese had him do something that wasn't anything like what he'd had him do in Casino or Goodfellas or anything like that. Because to me, there wouldn't be much of a point at him just showing up to rehash like an old gangster character. Instead, he's the opposite of a lot of those guys. He's just as dangerous as those guys, but he doesn't play like them in The Irishman. He plays as more cool, calm, collected, completely professional, not especially emotional. But it's such a great experience. There we go. Took a minute to get that one in. Little reef, little Lego reef. Wreath. I'm saying reef, like a coral reef. All right. I love this because I wasn't even thinking about these little floodlights or whatever they are, little pole lights outside of the house, but they're a big part of the visual identity of the house. And I'm glad Lego didn't forget about them because I sort of did. At least they had their heads on straight because I didn't. All right, now I do believe that is it for the house. Now it's time for the final build in this thing, and it's the treehouse. So let's embark on the final building adventure. There's not a ton of parts to the treehouse. I know that I've been told not to expect it to be really grandiose in its amount of detail, and I don't think it should be. This is just kind of a fun little build, but we'll see. Maybe it'll be super extensive. I don't know. It's possible. The set has surprised me at every single turn, so why not for the last for the last build. Why not be surprised? Why not be delighted? It's worked so far. Looks like we're building the base of the tree right now. There's a sentence you don't get to see every day. It's a line that you would only find in like the in Genesis. Lego trees fascinate me because it's something that really shouldn't lend itself to being built with Lego pieces. But I think the concept of something that shouldn't be built with Lego is kind of out the window these days. I think we've entered a new level of Lego. I think anything's possible. And maybe if I put it in the right spot, I would have a little more luck. But it seems like every big collector's set that I get that features a tree, I'm seeing a new way to build a tree. There is no consensus, I've noticed, in the Lego company of the good and proper way to build a tree in Lego. It just doesn't exist. I'm glad though, because I want to see it vary like dramatically with each set. I want to see different building methods. I don't want to see the same thing. Because ain't nobody got time for that. Right, and this looks like it's going to overlap and connect with the base of the other part. Maybe right there. That'll do it. Well, if it'll stick. There we go. Got those in. Okay. Have the roots of the tree. I really feel like if this set had come out a couple of years ago, that the treehouse would have been a little extra, or like something that you would only have gotten if you pre-ordered it within the first week while supplies lasted, and it would be a little extra set that would come in a little box, and you would, it would not be something that would necessarily be included with the main set. But I'm glad that that's not the case, because I feel like Lego is at their worst when they do things like that. These little exclusive builds, and usually it works out fine for me and I'm able to get it. But then there's the massive amount of people who aren't, and they end up with an incomplete kind of experience. It's just frustrating. People don't like limited little store exclusives and things. But thankfully, they didn't go that route with this. It is a complete experience. It has everything you need in the box. Even if that comes at a high premium, it's still actually a good deal for the amount of pieces that you get. You're actually getting a pretty good value. It's way beyond the regular 10 cent per part ratio that we see. That's kind of how we judge good value in sets. Should be at least, you should get, for every 10 cents, you should get a Lego piece. That's always been like the old conventional wisdom, but yeah, it actually looks like it's going to be fairly decent on the tree. But this set does surpass the old wisdom about getting that one piece for every 10 cents. And which makes sense. If you're buying anything in bulk or in large quantity, you're going to get some kind of discount. You're going to save some kind of money. So it makes sense that you should get a really significant value for buying this size of set, which is exciting. I'd love to get good value for this. But, honestly, this is my Christmas present to myself, this set. Be good to yourself. It's kind of like Dale Cooper says in Twin Peaks, you buy yourself a little present. For him, it was the coffee and the cherry pie he was buying at the diner. You gotta be good to yourself, Dale Cooper. Buy yourself a little present every day. Oh, Twin Peaks. Yeah, when do we get the Twin Peaks Lego set? I'm ready for a Twin Peaks set. I bet it'll happen one of these days. Crazy as it sounds, I bet it'll happen. Okay. Looks like we're starting to build the base of the treehouse now. It's a little it's a very thick trunk on the tree, so that's cool at least. So definitely glad that we kind of get a fall sort of tree here. Of course, it's wintertime in the movie, but still, you can still see where it's kind of oranged out a little bit. Then you also get the little twig piece here. And just kind of a bare, there we go. And we apparently make another one of these. And then another one of those twigs, one of those branches right here. There's one branch. And like I said earlier, this is yet another way that you can do a Lego tree. I'm certainly not seeing this method elsewhere. Here we go. Some of the branches done right there. Okay. Now we're building the actual tiny, tiny little representation of the treehouse room. But when you think about it, when you consider the truncated scale, and minifig houses and buildings that they do are kind of like this, there's always a little bit of a truncated scale for what they're doing. It's not always supposed to be 1-to-1. And the treehouse is so small in the movie that it would make sense that you're working with like bare minimum for what the scale could even possibly turn out to be. It's not meant to be exact. There's a suspension of disbelief that, come on. But I don't know, it'll be curious. Maybe it'll be pretty roomy, but I have a feeling it'll be more like a little room that you can put a tiny little area maybe for the minifig, just big enough for Kevin to stand in it and call it a day. But I could be wrong. We'll see. Looks like we have some snowy details right here. It's just gonna lock in. Very exciting. This is the last little piece of the build right here. Okay. There are not many pieces left, my friends. We are on the road home. It's funny going back on this stream. It's going to be quite a journey on the playlist if anybody wants to take it, because you're looking at 15 or 16 hours, I think, at the very least, that you can watch of just flat out discussion and commentary on this set. You can have the full experience, nothing sped up. Although I am considering going back, and I honestly, I don't even really know how I would do it technically, because, you know, when you live stream, it's not like I have a video file of all this. But it would be kind of funny to go back and kind of find a way to speed it all up and do like a supercut, like a time lapse kind of thing. But I may be really difficult since I don't have an actual video file. But who knows? Maybe it's more possible than I'm thinking. Maybe I should look into this. See, because it would be fun, I think, to watch it at high speed. And go back and have a 10 or 20 minute cut of 16 hours worth of footage. Kind of just cut out some things here and there and make it a little bit of a faster experience. Might be cool. I will say this, that when you're shooting time lapse for the purpose of time lapse, it's actually kind of miserable, to be honest. I've done that a couple of times, and it's sort of misery. Because it's not like this where you're talking and just kind of easing through it. It feels like that once you have it going, it kind of feels like you're a slave to it and you can't stop it, and you're afraid that you're going to ruin your footage, and it's trying to think of the ending effect and finished product, and there's no instant gratification really, and it's a bad way to do it. Kind of like what I just did there. That was a bad way to do that. There we go. Should get a job at Little Nero's if I keep messing up their house like this. I love how atypical this is, because the building here, and if I remember right, I think in the movie that Kevin's treehouse is kind of ratchety looking, you know, like it definitely looks like it was like a little project. It wasn't something that was professionally put together. Like, it's almost like Kevin's dad built it, and it's kind of put together some wood scraps or something. I mean, it's a cool looking treehouse, but it has that look of not being professionally built. It's more ground up. So I'm glad that we're using all these little atypical shapes. Okay. And then a little bit of snowy detail on the outside. And I love that they don't forget the snow. And all through, anytime we've done exterior details, they don't just leave them bare and like, okay, you know, you can just kind of imagine the snow being there. No, it's all there. You can see a little snow overhang right there. So that's been nice that they didn't forget that detail. Oh. Ew. Oh. Treehouse is falling apart. Legos come apart? Oh my God. There's that meme, and I don't know if I don't even know if it could possibly be real. You guys probably know the one I'm talking about, where there's that customer review on Amazon where they give some kind of huge Lego set 1 star, and they say it's because that it came apart, or that they had no idea that they would have to build it, like something like that. Can that possibly be real? Like, or is that just someone? Because I've read hilarious like troll reviews on Amazon where somebody clearly has written a review to be funny and to give you a laugh, where they act clueless about a product. But surely there's nobody that's at a level of mental difficulty, perhaps, is the kind way of putting it. I mean, there's no way. Although I think I would like it if it was real. Scissors. Oh, yeah, yeah. This is the giant, where Kevin takes the giant clippers and clips the rope when Harry and Marv are trying to shimmy over, which he's beckoning them to do. All right. So we're zoom back out so we kind of see what we're doing here. Whoop. All right, treehouse coming together very quickly. Yeah, you never know. Anything's possible. Don't count it out. Okay, we got that. Oh, this is the little like balcony part of the treehouse. It's great because as I'm building this, it's bringing back all the little details. It's almost like you're building a memory. You're filling in all the little blank spots in your head. Because now it's as clear as day to me that he's got the little like overlook in front of the house. Guys, there's not many pieces left. We are running low. This is it. This is coming to a close very quickly. Like very quickly. This is just about over with. Honestly, I'll be sad to see this thing conclude. It's been so much fun and just a real joy, not a burden, not a job, not an obligation. Oh. Okay, got it. All right, and we're now going to build the little ladder that leads up to the treehouse. I've always read these production stories that I guess they're true. Oh, look, battle droid arms from Star Wars Episode 1. That's so funny. But here they are. But I've always read these little stories that apparently Joe Pesci, oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Joe Pesci apparently had a really, really, really hard time not cursing frantically during the filming of Home Alone. Because and that does make perfect sense to me because Joe Pesci is famous for his cursing in movies. So, or infamous, I don't know. But I think that he was like improvising and just kind of doing a little bit of method acting as he would act like he was being hurt by these traps. And apparently was using unbelievably foul language. And I think Chris Columbus or somebody just had to tell him, you know, Joe, this is a family movie, so we can't really do that, even if it's probably more true to how these guys would be reacting. And he, that's why in the movie, and I had a good time quoting this as a kid. Every time you get hurt, instead of cursing wildly, he says all that weird nonsense where it's like retcha, 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 and it's like it vaguely sounds like obscenities. Like, just vaguely, it kind of seems like he's saying some naughty things, but it's really just a bunch of nonsense, which I think is perfect. Okay, I think, yes, indeed, the pirate flag is the last decal in the whole thing. It's the last sticker. After that, I can kiss those stickers goodbye. Mostly had good luck with the stickers in this set. No real, what I would call, disasters. I wasn't 100% pleased with my placement, honestly, on the refrigerator's surface, and I knew that would be a rough one. But it's not to the point where I feel like I need to redo it or anything. But everything else, yep, including this last one, everything else was, I think, it worked out well. I can't complain. I've had much, much worse luck with stickers and sets before. Thankfully, the stickers were with me this time. I did not feel like the stickers were against me. Here you have the funniest little packaging thing Lego does. And they put a little strip of masking tape over their ropes, which is just really funny to me. I recently saw this in the Pirates of Barracuda Bay set, and it just amused me to no end that there was just a legit piece of masking tape just out of the blue all of a sudden. I mean, why not, right? Get the masking tape out, buy them a roll of Big Lots or something, and just go to town. Mask that stuff up. Right at the top of the treehouse, we just have the line that, of course, Harry and Marv are going to try to shimmy over. And Kevin, of course, has a little zip line thing going. And there's that great shot of Kevin on the zip line in the movie, but if you go back and look, that is a little person that is dressed up like Kevin. Of course, you can't have a kid, going over those heights through a window. Going out to a treehouse, it's just not going to work. But it is really funny to see the proportions change. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't mean any disrespect towards the stunt performer, I think it may have been a small woman that was playing Kevin in the movie. I could be wrong, and if I am, I apologize. Yeah, the zip line's cool. It's great because it gives it a play feature, and this set definitely intended for adults, not intended for kids. But I feel like that Lego isn't trying to say there that, you shouldn't let a kid around this. I feel like it's more like, hey, maybe you could build this with your kids. I don't have any as of the time of recording, but I think that that's what they're saying. And of course, this is an 18 plus set, but I think sometimes people take that too literally. I think the idea is supposed to be, 18 plus, make sure somebody who is older, who is an adult, is helping a kid build this, because kids love Home Alone. Let's not leave them out. All right, and we are building a little plane here, little toy thing. Oh, absolutely. How many kids you got? I'd say they would probably love this set more than likely. Let's see, get that right there. And we have the wings here. I guess this is just setting in the tree. All right. And 2 girls. Awesome, man. That's the great thing about Lego, is there is a crossover appeal between ages, between genders. And the great thing is nobody looks at Lego and is like, 8 and 11. Oh yeah, that's perfect for something like this, I think. Especially, with Dad there to help him out. It's going to be a great, fun family project. And something that you may not know about this set is, since it's divided into 24 bags, it is indeed intended to be taken as kind of an advent calendar experience. So you can totally build like a bag per day leading up to Christmas, which is absolutely terrific. Once again, Lego's intentionality about this set and how you're going to build it and what kind of experience it's going to be. It isn't random whatsoever. It is definitely meant, there is a design, there's kind of an art to the way that they set this up. And that is so impressive. Okay, we are... yeah, Lego friends. There you go. Maybe as they get a little older. Yeah, we are rapidly coming to the end of this experience. We are down to the last steps here. This is crazy. All right, let's see. Okay, turning the house around. Let's see here. Right here at the end. Then we have the very, very high off the ground top of the attic window. This is where we connect the treehouse, of course, just like in the movie. So this line goes up here. Plug that in. And then we have a little curved piece that we connect right here. Kind of just cleans up the look. And then I think the very last build, the very last thing we're going to do is connect the little zip line thing, the handles that Kevin uses, that I think he rigs up himself in the movie. And that'll be it. That'll be all she wrote. So yeah, let's do this. Have some classic Lego bike handles. Oh, me too. It was, man, just seeing Kevin do that as a kid, it was like something I wanted to do so bad, but it also sort of horrified me because of the heights and stuff. Of course, that's another great little through line, and the compliment to John Hughes' script is that the big theme of the movie is not only does Kevin have to learn not to be such a jerk and appreciate his family for what they are, but he's also trying to overcome fear. And so it's almost like that's his last challenge at the end of the movie, that he has to not only overcome the fear of Harry and Marv and the basement, but the last thing is he has to like take a deep breath and try to get through the zip line and make it to the other side to save his life. So there's some real intentionality in the script there, which I appreciate. Okay. Let me make sure I've got this right, so I don't have to come back through. All right. Hold that taut, and then put my zip line and the guide wheel over it. And there we go. A little let's see. Let's have a little fun here. Let's have Kevin. Let's see if he won't zip line down to the treehouse here. We've come this far, right? Let's have a little fun while we're here. Okay, you gotta orient the hands to where it's gonna work a little better. I like how we've got the I'm frightened kind of face going here. Okay. And I'll be curious to see how well that he can do this. It's funny because it's kind of in front of his face in his line of sight. Can you do it, Kev? Hey! Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. That is cool. Let's see. At a better angle. Can you do it, Kev? Yay! So does that mean Harry and Marv have them trying to use their Lego gripping hands to make it work, and it's just going to be a mess for them? Oh, man. Wow. Okay, let's go ahead and let's get this ready to look at the whole thing as a complete unit, because I think that would be terrific. See it all together one more time before we end the stream. All right. Because by golly, we built this thing. We need to try out the features and see how it all comes together one more time, I think. All right. So let's start. And to fit it on my station here, I think I'm going to have to put the treehouse to the side of the house to kind of keep it, because I don't think there's enough room back there for it. It's funny because of that extension onto the back of the house. It makes it a lot more unwieldy. Okay. I'll have to go kind of zoom out a little so we can see everything. Look at that. That is a beautiful, beautiful little Lego house right there. Yep, can't beat it. All right. Will this open up? Yep. Get this off to the side. I'll bring my light down to where we can see inside a little. Should be a little bit better. And all that great interior detail. Man. This is really a fan's dream come true when you look at this thing. Oops. Don't want to dismantle it. Of course, I've knocked the chairs around on the inside. I mean, I was always a big believer as a kid, and I mentioned this in another one of the parts, that there should have been like this big Home Alone action figure line. And so this goes away in making me feel like this is kind of the Home Alone play set and action figure set that I never got when I was really little and would have really loved, though. Like, I'm probably not the only one that would have definitely bought something like that. When you think about the kids of the 90s, I mean, we were all about play sets. So look at that. So much great detail. And I think the only way to do it justice is to get off the tripod here. And let's just go in for a little look, friends, as we go. Try to use my light as best I can. And let's visit some of the locations. Let's start down here. Of course, we have the living room. And you can see that you get all sorts of great action, just like in the movie. Kevin's fooling Harry and Marv with Michael Jordan on a train. Yeah, and it can go all the way around. So this is terrific. It really is. And let's see. Yeah. We also get some beautiful interior. You can see the fireplace there with the stockings hung up. You can see Kevin's family. And of course, it's great that they're represented in pictorial form. Even if they don't all get minifigs, it's nice to see some of Kevin's cousins and things. It's funny that if you look, you can actually see that the actual set, the Lego set itself, is under the tree as a present. So, and this is a Home Alone 2 reference, I think, with the two turtle doves on the tree. So how funny is that? Here's the little window. You can see all sorts of little cool things on it. And little windows into the basement, where the basement should be anyway. So I just love it. It's terrific. A little venue, the chair, and you can see the staircase actually goes where it should. The front door of the house, which the doorknob is red hot. Yeah, even the Jordan cutout. And I'll show you something really funny. They don't have the NBA license, so he's not playing for the Bulls. He's playing for the Bricks. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's just, you can't make this stuff up. So, moving up through the house, you can see that you can actually go up the staircase, just like in the movie, and the McAllister rug there. And of course, this is where Harry is disguised as a police officer, comes to see the family and asks them a bunch of questions. All right, so I'll kind of angle this to where my light works a little bit better. That same knob that controls the other motion also controls this. So you have on the record player, when they're playing Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree, you can see that you have the little dummy, like the store mannequin, that moves. Here is Kevin's very humble Christmas dinner setup. You can see the macaroni and cheese he's eating with the candles, which I always thought was a little dangerous when I was a kid because Mom had forbade me to play with any sort of matches or lighter. And I couldn't believe it when Kevin lit candles in the movie. You can see the big clock that, you remember it makes the big chime, and that's when Kevin is alerted to the danger. You can see here that we have the fan and the little blower, and this is the thing that, of course, puts out the chicken feathers all over Harry. So really funny stuff. You can actually see, and when I was building it, it was separate. You have the staircase that leads into the kitchen in here. So I can't wait to get a better look at that little window that leads out. Let's move on upstairs. You can see the bathroom where Kevin uses this aftershave and has an experience. So he's in a lot of pain. If you look out here in the hallway, this door leads to Kevin's parents' bedroom, and Kevin, of course, commandeers that bedroom with the giant bed. You can see you have some stuff out in the hallway. This is the paint can that can swing down on the little rope. So I'm glad they represented that. Of course, if you probably let it down on the rope, it will swing right through here as it should down the staircase. Moving on over, you have Buzz's room, which is supposed to be, of course, off limits in the movie. So many great little details in here. It's really crammed together, but honestly, it was crammed together in the movie too. You have Buzz's like secret little chest full of stuff here. So really funny. And there's Buzz's girlfriend. Woof. Little poster on Buzz's room there. There is the BB gun that Kevin, of course, takes. And you have the funny shelf where you can see the cage for Buzz's tarantula, which, of course, is such a hilarious plot point in the movie. And we'll just zoom out a little bit. It's a little disorienting after a while. Okay, we'll put that back on. What's great is that to access all of this, and I'm going to have to show the parents' bedroom, is this roof up here is removable. So we'll just give this a little tug, and this opens up. And that's a really smooth action. Now, let me just get my light going up here a little bit better. 1 second. And there we go. So you can see the attic up here. Have all the little details about Kevin's battle plan. There's the futon that folds out for him to sleep in. You also have a couple of other neat little things. There is these cobwebs right over here, and the staircase actually does lead up to the basement, which I thought was pretty impressive. This came off its stand, so I'm going to have to plug it back in. But you can actually see this is the gumball machine that's up in the attic. And I'll get that plugged back in. And it goes right over there. Now, I can actually take off this top roof so that we can see the bedroom. And you can see the bedroom that Kevin sleeps in, and there's the funny alarm clock right there. And a better look at Buzz's room, and there's a little action feature that causes that shelf to collapse. So it's just great. And of course, there's Buzz's pet tarantula with the keep out sign. So excellent there. I'll reattach the roof. Get the house closed back up. Then we'll look at the back of the house with all the details with the basement and the kitchen. So let's get it turned around. Honestly, some of the very best stuff about the house is back here on the back. And you can see, I'll place the tree house in the right spot now that we have it turned back around and I have the room for it. And that gets that wire taut. And then this will go right here. Now, this back area of the house was shocking with how great it was. I'm actually going to remove the roof so that the light can come in and kind of help us out a little bit. Some of these details. You can see that the kitchen area, which we just built earlier, right here, looking very impressive with a little refrigerator. There is, of course, the pizza and all the little countertops and everything. Moving on down, this is, of course, the frozen water on the steps. And you can go into the basement right here. All sorts of cool little details in there. Really hard to see this way, so I think that I need to detach the kitchen on the top and, yeah, I just pull it out and you have a whole little basement area. Yeah, me too. And my favorite little action feature in the whole thing was, of course, very unexpected. And it turned out that you can make this thing chomp up and down, just like in the movie. You remember Kevin is scared to death of the furnace. And so all you got to do this, and it lights up. And this can be easily removed because they knew how difficult it would be to have it down there and to get a better look at it. Stuff of nightmares. Absolutely hilarious. Teeth are a little iffy on this. They're made out of the little sausage pieces, and they come apart and kind of flex around a little too easy for my taste. Maybe I did it wrong, but you know, I think I did it the way I was supposed to, and it seems a little lacking, I think, on that part. But other than that, the only thing left to discuss is the plumbing and heating van, which was actually seems like a million years ago. It was the first part of the build. And let me get this plugged back in here. I needed both hands. All right, it is possible to get it plugged back in. Let me get this back on. Then we'll be ready to discuss the van. Here it is, which is an incredible recreation of the OK plumbing and heating van. And there's Harry and Marv having the time of their lives. And so you just take off this top portion. You can see that they have other stuff that they've stolen from the other houses back there. Even the back of it opens up, which is great. And then we'll get those Harry and Marv minifigs out. Okay. The fan over here. And now time to switch back to the tripod because I've shown different elements of the house. So now I need both of my hands to look at all the minifigs. Oh, the joy of live video. Okay. Perfect. Fantastic. So looking at the minifigs, we have Harry here. And you can see he even has his gold tooth. And Marv, who has maybe the greatest alternate Lego face of all time, thanks to the whole gimmick with the iron. And they even have crowbars. So each one of them gets their crowbar. We'll just plug that in. Whoops. Right here. Crowbar is up. Whoop. Nice. Of course, next up we have Kevin himself. And not only does he have the scared expression, but he just has the normal expression. Yeah, the expressions are amazing. And Kevin also comes with an alternative look. His boggin. So that you can get the scenes where he's wearing it and he's on the little sled, which it does include. Yeah, it really does. So you got that. It's a terrific little extra to have. Not only that, but Harry actually includes his police disguise. Now, I think it would be really easy to get like a Lego City police body or something. But this is as far as they go. It's just more of a nod to his disguise. So it's not exact or anything. But I think it's still pretty cool that they included the police hat. I think that means a lot. But I'm probably not really going to use that part. I'm just going to use his regular robber's hat, the boggin here. And we have the old man. He comes with the shovel. Does he have an alternate? No, he doesn't have an alternate facial expression. I was trying to remember. And of course, we have Kevin's mother, who's, oh, Kevin! I've got to close that back door. It's funny. I get that closed, and I think I forgot to put the doorknob on the back door. Let me just stick that on there real quick. Maybe complete the house a little bit. You know what? It doesn't fit. So maybe there is. Let me double check that. Make sure I didn't leave something out. Maybe there isn't supposed to be one on it, actually. Yeah, I don't think there is. Okay. So I got that closed back. And there's one little thing I want to do here. So I just feel like that I have to do this. Here we have Harry. He's saying something about breaking Kevin's fingers or biting them off or something, which is pure insanity for a kid's movie. He's looking pretty scared. This is Kevin's darkest hour. And it's time to do something I've never got to do in toy form. Leave him alone. Let's get out of here. There we go. See, that's when he gets the trash can out, and these guys are toast. They're history. And just for fun, this is the treehouse, which, you know, as I'd been told, this is definitely, and my nephew had told me this, and he was right, that it's a very small kind of, you know, interior. There isn't a whole lot, you know, in terms of details in there, but it is a cool little build. And as I suspected, it's pretty much just enough for Kevin to kind of just chill out in there. And that's kind of what it's for. You're supposed to have the scissors there if you want to cut the lines so the robbers are kind of cut off. So, you know, I'll have to look more closely about the plane in the movie being like up in the tree. It's probably a little detail that I didn't think much about. I'm pretty sure it was there now that I think about it, that it was just kind of sitting in the tree. Supposed to be like, you know, one of those deals where they'd flown a plane and it just landed and all that. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I've had a great time putting this thing together. It's been so much fun, and I'm glad that I decided to live stream the experience so that not only all the folks that joined me live and I had a great conversation with, but also for all the folks that are going to watch it later. And I know a lot of my viewers who watch it, you know, get to watch it later, more in their own time. And it's only kind of later that I'm able to have the time to put things like this together. As we all know, that as we get older, it's kind of the only time we have to do these sort of things. But it really was just a fantastic experience. And just had a blast putting the thing together. I will give it a lot of credit for making me feel very Christmassy. It definitely got me more into the Christmas spirit than I was. So I just love it. Love it, love it, love it. If we're going to end this, let's end it right. And let's have it definitely with Kevin getting reunited with his mother. And I can get her facial expression changed around here. It turns out everything's cool. You know, till Home Alone 2, of course. But, you know, yay, Kevin, yay. So, right here, she shows up. Mom? And hopefully they invited the old man to Christmas dinner or something. Hopefully we've got a planes, trains, and automobiles situation, like when he gets John Candy to come in and eat with them and spend Thanksgiving with them. So, yeah, this has just been so much fun. I want to thank everyone who's managed to stick with me, or if you just caught one part or two parts, or you watched it later or stuck with me live and just had some fun conversation. It's been a blast. I can't wait to incorporate this into my Christmas decorations this year. I have to say, I do sincerely believe it's one of the best Lego sets that I ever had the chance to put together. It's $250, but for the amount of stuff that you get, it's just I think it really is a great value. You're getting an extensive playset and recreation of Home Alone, unlike anything that's ever been produced by any company. If you're a diehard fan of Home Alone like I am, this is a no-brainer. This is something you're easily going to buy. It's not something you'll think very much about. You'll just buy it. If you need a little convincing and maybe you hadn't watched Home Alone in a few years, I hope this has helped you make a decision. $250 is not a small amount of money. But the Lego website sometimes offers things like double VIP points and things like that if you're part of the VIP rewards program. And I was able to use some discounts that I had earned on there to get a little bit of that money taken care of. So for me, the set more came out to like $210 or so, making it an even better value because I had saved up some points for it. So I really hope that this was informative Hope you had a good time. Hope you had a chuckle at my expense, maybe once or twice during the video. As always, I just want to say God bless you and yours. And yeah, keep watching Fanboys Forever. Be sure to subscribe, like the video if you can, and I'll see you on Fanboys Forever. God bless. Take care.